Hey everyone, it's Eddie Campos here with Remax Preferred Associates, and this is Coffee with Eddie. And I have the pleasure of speaking to my friend Paul Zito, Vice President of International Development with RGP with us. Paul, welcome. Salute. Bonjour.
Bonjour, good to see you, Eddie. Thank you so much for having me today.
Good to see you.
Wish we could be together.
I know, that would be great. And Paul, I've got to tell you that we met probably 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago.
7 years ago.
7 years ago. And you made such a big impact on me, not because of necessarily what you do, but because of the person you are. And I just felt just an immediate connection to you when you came to the area. So it was a pleasure to meet you, and thank you for joining me today.
Likewise. And, we were new to the area then. I knew the Toledo area a bit through the work that I'd done, but never as a place to live.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember my wife saying, wow, Eddie's a really nice guy. I think this is going to be good.
Oh, thank you very much. So let's start out with the basics then. So let's talk about RGP and who they are. So RGP, Regional Growth Partners, privately funded and part of the Jobs Ohio network. You cover 20 counties around Toledo, Northwest Ohio, Southeast Michigan. And every year you help with an average of over $3 billion invested in new and expanded facilities and 4,000 jobs. That's an awesome task to be a part of. Can you break that down for me and everyone else to kind of explain how does that all happen? That's a huge umbrella to keep in mind.
It's funny. Our boss often says we're often an unsung hero.
Yes.
There are a lot of big developments in manufacturing, industry, research, and development that happen in Northwest Ohio, and we don't hog the credit. We let that credit go to the company that does it, the local economic development people that were involved, the private sector players, the real estate companies, the construction companies, and let them take all the glory. We're just happy that we get the jobs and the investment. And RGP, 20 some years ago, originally was a government entity funded primarily by the Toledo-Lucas County Port Authority. And it was one of the first regional economic development agencies in any metro area in the U.S. And many metro areas have somewhat copied the RGP model. RGP eventually became privatized. Why? Number one, we don't have to come up for a vote every few years for a levy to support us. Number two, it allows us to be confidential. When a company comes to Maumee and is looking at that 20 acres or that 100,000 square foot building and thinking about opening their location there or in North Carolina, we don't want the media to get a hold of that information. We don't want the word on the street to go around. We want the deal to happen. So being privatized is a great advantage. It also allows us to act much more quickly than a government entity. The regional aspect is fantastic because we don't just focus on Toledo or the Toledo metro area. We go all the way down to Lima and Allen County, all the way west to the Indiana border, and east almost to Cedar Point. So we cover a great variety of real estate, of communities, from urban areas to country to suburban. Throw into that the Jobs Ohio model. Jobs Ohio is the lead economic development agency for the state of Ohio, created 9 years ago by Governor Kasich when he came into office, who decided to scrap the Ohio Department of Development and create a privatized entity. Again, the same advantages that RGP has: can be confidential, can act much quicker, not dependent on tax revenue, on government funds. What I like best about Jobs Ohio is the decentralization of it. Jobs Ohio gives us funds to promote Northwest Ohio as a location for businesses, to market the area, to perform site searches, building searches, and to work out incentives, tax credits, grants, low interest loans available to companies. And that, we were having a discussion yesterday with some of the Jobs Ohio bigwigs, and that's really the most unique aspect of the Jobs Ohio RGP model, that we are equal players with Columbus in how to deal with economic development.
Right. So in a way, you're like a broker, you're a connector. You're trying to find organizations and trying to find them territories in a 50, 100-mile radius of Northwest Ohio, of Toledo.
Yeah, our work was really twofold. Number one, try to bring companies here and therefore jobs and investment in capital equipment. So we do site searches for them, work on incentives from local governments and other sources, and also to keep jobs here, what we call BRE, business retention and expansion. So that company in Maumee or Lima that is thinking about opening a facility in Texas because they think it's easier to do business in Texas or something ridiculous like that. We work with them and point out why they should stay in Northwest Ohio, help them not only with incentives, but with training programs, with recruiting talent, and, as you said, being a broker, connecting them to players in their industry to help them with their supply chain, with their access to market, and with other issues.
You know, it's interesting. I remember not too long ago hearing a conversation, and actually this may have come from you, but there was a elevator company in town who was looking to move because they wanted to have greater access to new engineers and really had no thought process to try to connect to the University of Toledo and the resource that it could be, and they ended up staying in the area.
That's a great point and a great case study. One of the great aspects about Northwest Ohio is the cost of doing business. And the great number of engineers and skilled workers from the automotive industry, the metal industry, the glass industry. Back in 2008 and 2009, a law firm that I've done a lot of work with, unfortunately not in Toledo, did a study. And they found that Toledo, the cost of an engineer is generally 20 to 30% less than it would be in New York City, Chicago, San Francisco, Atlanta, Los Angeles. Even compared to Detroit and Ann Arbor, very close. Cost of an engineer is generally 10 to 15% less. And we have more available.
Yeah, that's amazing. So Toledo's filled with a lot of resources. So not only its location to I-75, the turnpike, to water, to air, but just the people in general.
Yeah, you know, it kills me when people say, oh, Toledo is such an old town, boring. Like, there is value in being an old town. Yeah. A long history of manufacturing, research and development, innovation in glass, automotive, right, solar energy, and on top of that, a great logistics infrastructure, road, rail, water, air, everything you need.
I just recently relocated somebody from Arizona to Toledo, and their motivation is they have family in Pittsburgh where they grew up. They have family in the Kentucky area in Chicago, so she was looking for something that would be kind of in the middle, and we fit the bill.
Right.
Well, when I relocated her, the first thing I do is I give them a tour of the area. So that could last up to 5 hours when you consider going into each area of Toledo, downtown Toledo, West Toledo, Sylvania, Oregon. It can take a while. And when she was done, she said that she was just amazed at what the area was truly like, and it did not fit the bill of what she was told it was going to be like. I think we just got a tremendous amount of resources in our area, and I love where we live. And, the cost of living is very affordable, and the people are fantastic. And she saw that right away, especially with the things going in downtown Toledo. It's very exciting.
Timing is everything. And when I arrived here years ago, things were just starting to boom in the downtown area. The developments with ProMedica and the warehouse district, other parts of downtown were just starting to happen. And I thought, man, my timing is great. Yeah. I have a lot of visitors that come from Europe, Asia, and elsewhere around the world. And I'm always really disappointed when all they want to see is that 100,000 square foot building or that 20 acres of land available, and talk about the water, the sewer, the electricity, the rail. That's the essence of my work, of our work, is to get them to commit to that. What I enjoy is taking them on the tour.
Yeah.
And depending how much time I have, rolling through Perrysburg and Sylvania and Maumee into downtown, showing them the Toledo Museum of Art, showing them the riverfront. That's when people say, oh, wow, I never thought that Toledo and the metro area could be this so cool.
Well, I'm definitely proud of our community. So thanks for everything that you're doing with RGP. Everyone, this has been Coffee with Eddie. This is my first episode with Paul Zito with the Regional Growth Partners. Please tune in to see us next week.
Thank you, Eddie.
Thank you.